Have you ever noticed how certain changes in the body don't come with alarms or warnings? One day you simply wake up and realize your erection doesn't respond the way it used to. It hasn't vanished overnight, but it starts failing in moments that once felt natural. The night feels longer, not because you're full of energy, but because desire no longer carries the intensity that once defined you. And this is where so many men make a mistake, believing it's a road with no return, accepting that, after 50 or 60, all that's left is empty nights, expensive chemical solutions, and the bitter feeling that virility belongs to the past. But that isn't true. Desire hasn't disappeared. Science has already proven that when blood starts flowing strongly again, when circulation is activated, the body responds in minutes, and there are natural, simple, almost ordinary ways to bring back that firmness that once seemed lost, and it all starts with something as small as a spoonful. This is the secret recipe I want to show you today. A natural combination that wakes up circulation, reignites erections, and restores true intimacy, not something artificial. We're not talking about a pill that masks the problem, but about a solution that strikes at its root. Before we go on, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because what you'll discover here can truly change your intimate life forever. And I want to hear from you too. If you believe virility can be restored, type the word strength. If you think it's only asleep and needs to be reawakened, type energy. When a man seeks help for erection problems, he almost always finds the same path: expensive pills, rushed consultations, prepackaged formulas. In 10 minutes at the doctor's office, the diagnosis is already sealed. It's age. Take this prescription. And so, thousands of men end up believing that potency can only be bought at a pharmacy. But what almost no one says is that those pills don't solve the real problem, they only postpone it. They force a short-lived reaction, but they don't fix slow circulation. They don't restore the natural flow of blood that should fill the cavernous bodies and sustain a firm erection. Traditional medicine rarely has the time to explain this, not because there is no solution, but because the system is practical. Prescribing is faster than teaching, but the human body doesn't work like a light switch. Desire doesn't turn on with a chemical click. It depends on something deeper: oxygen running through your veins, flexible vessels, blood free from blockages. Without this, there's no firmness that lasts. And this is exactly where most men get it wrong. They believe they're too old, when in fact their main engine has simply slowed down. The real mistake is thinking age kills desire, when what truly extinguishes the fire is poor circulation. And the most intriguing part is that solid science stands behind natural alternatives. Simple ingredients that stimulate nitric oxide release, relax blood vessels, and give back in minutes what you thought was lost. This is the part you won't see in ads or rushed appointments, but it can completely transform your intimate life. If you're already understanding the power of this change, take a moment and like this video. That small gesture helps spread real knowledge to thousands of men who still believe pills are the only way. Sometimes, what looks insignificant is what brings the biggest transformations. I'm not talking about miracles or empty promises, but about something so simple it almost feels unbelievable. A spoonful. One single spoonful can be the difference between a body running on empty and a circulation that awakens. This idea might sound too small for a problem as big as erectile dysfunction, but think about it for a moment. Isn't that how life works? A seemingly tiny detail can change the course of everything. The press of a button lights up a whole city. A single drop of poison can bring down an entire body. In the same way, a spoonful of a natural mixture can activate the blood flow that sustains erections and restore nights of presence and firmness. The secret lies in choosing the right elements: a root that warms the veins, a citrus fruit that clears the path, a natural sweetener that enhances absorption. Each ingredient alone has its value, but when they come together, inside a single well-measured spoon, they become a key. A key not to open glass doors or safes, but to unlock arteries that had grown sluggish, dormant, unable to respond to what your body still longs to live. And here's the most fascinating part. This spoonful doesn't need to be measured in silence like another pill swallowed. It can become a small daily ritual, almost an intimate reminder that your body still has strength, still has fire. It's not about quantity, but about consistency. A spoonful, taken with intention, can reignite circulation from the inside out. And when blood flows freely again, there's no age that can hold back the natural response of a strong erection. Many men ask me, is there a safe way to recover potency without relying on pills? The answer is yes. And it goes beyond this recipe. In my digital book, Rediscovering Intimacy, Healthy Sexuality After 60, I've gathered practical guidance to improve circulation, reignite desire, and strengthen connection within your relationship. Simple, natural steps you can apply daily, capable of transforming not just your body, but also the way you experience intimacy. The link is in the pinned comment. Just click and begin today to rediscover what once felt lost. For a long time, knowledge was passed on in whispers, handed down from generation to generation. Grandmothers who used roots to give strength, men from the countryside who prepared infusions before long nights of work and intimacy. They were simple secrets, almost domestic, that seemed like superstition. But today, science is finally looking closely at these practices and discovering they were not myths at all, but pure physiology. When we talk about erection, we're not just talking about desire, but about biochemistry. The key lies in nitric oxide, a molecule naturally produced by the body that relaxes the walls of blood vessels, allowing blood to enter in large volume. Without it, there's no firmness, no support. It's like trying to inflate a balloon with the knot tightly tied. The air doesn't enter, the balloon never expands. And this is where tradition comes in. Ingredients like ginger, lemon, and honey, used for centuries to strengthen the body, have been studied in laboratories and revealed an impressive power, increasing nitric oxide release, reducing hidden inflammation, and restoring elasticity to the arteries. What was once considered a grandmother's remedy now appears in scientific articles, with clear evidence of improved circulation, energy, and sexual vitality. The contrast is striking. While many men remain trapped in the idea that only the pharmacy can help, the body cries out for what has always been available in the kitchen. Tradition, when confirmed by science, ceases to be superstition and becomes a legitimate resource. And it is in this meeting between ancient wisdom and modern research that the true secret recipe is born. Simple, accessible, but powerful enough to bring back strong erections in minutes. He was 63 years old, carrying on his face the mark of someone who had quietly given up. He slept beside his wife every night, but felt that the distance between them was greater than the bed. It wasn't a lack of love, nor of companionship, but the absence of that energy which, for decades, had fueled their encounters. Erections no longer came with firmness. Desire seemed to have been lost along the way, and he believed it was simply age taking its toll. Until one day, almost by accident, he heard about a simple mixture, made with ingredients anyone could find. Skeptical, but with nothing to lose, he decided to try. Not like someone waiting for a miracle, but like someone giving his body one last chance. He prepared his first spoonful with doubt, drank it slowly, and carried on with his life. In the first week, what he noticed wasn't spectacular. Just a slight warmth running through his legs, a subtle energy, almost imperceptible. But it was already something different. By the second week, the morning fatigue felt lighter, and his feet no longer woke up cold. The third week, the change arrived unexpectedly. He woke up with a firm erection, one he hadn't felt in years. He didn't need pills, he didn't need excuses. His body had reacted. But the greatest impact wasn't physical. It was when his wife looked at him differently, in a way she hadn't in a long time. No words were needed. Just the gentle touch of her hand on his arm was enough for him to realize that something between them had changed. The silence of the bed had turned into presence, into closeness. What once seemed lost wasn't dead, just asleep. And in that moment, he understood that a simple spoonful, repeated like a ritual, had reignited not only the flow of blood, but also the flame of intimacy. It was as if his body had been reminded of who he was and of everything he could still live. What makes this recipe powerful is not just what it contains, but the way it is transformed into a daily ritual. It's simple. A small piece of fresh ginger, about 2 fingers wide, well, washed, peeled with a spoon, and sliced thin. 1 whole lemon, used entirely. First the grated zest, only the yellow part, then the juice squeezed out. 2 full spoons of raw honey, thick and aromatic, which not only sweetens but also helps the body absorb nutrients. And a generous handful of dark raisins, about half a cup, boiled for a few minutes in a large glass of water until the liquid turns golden and slightly sweet. When this hot infusion meets the ginger, lemon, and honey, it is no longer just any liquid. It's as if each ingredient released its role. Ginger warms the veins and awakens circulation, lemon clears the pathways, honey stabilizes energy, and raisins enrich the blood. 1 spoonful of this mixture in the morning on an empty stomach and another before bed is enough to reignite that inner engine that seemed dormant. The first signs arrive subtly. In the first week, a different warmth in the legs, the sense that the body wakes up lighter. Soon after, deeper nights of sleep, and less fatigue upon waking. By the third or fourth week, what many describe is the return of firmness, of erections that seemed forgotten, not like a chemical jolt that lasts a few hours, but like a natural flow that responds when called upon. And when this ritual is repeated for 2 months, something even greater happens. It's not just the body that reacts, but the man's identity that is restored. He begins to see himself again as someone capable of living intimacy with confidence. Because it's not just about drinking a mixture, but about repeating each day a gesture that tells the body, I chose to come back. Many men discover this mixture, prepare it with enthusiasm, feel the first signs of improvement, and then give up. Not because the recipe doesn't work, but because they fall into almost invisible traps. Some put the ginger on high heat and let it boil hard, not realizing that this excessive heat destroys gingerol, the very compound that stimulates circulation and gives life to the ritual. Others replace fresh lemon with bottled juice, without essential oils, without vitality, just a shadow of what it should be. And then there are those who think it's enough to take it occasionally, when they remember, or when they feel the need. It's like lighting a candle for a second and expecting it to heat the entire house. Impossible. The truth is, the body doesn't respond to sporadic impulses, but to consistency. 1 spoon in the morning and another at night, every day, is what teaches the arteries to regain elasticity, the blood to flow freely, and erections to return naturally. Giving up halfway only brings you back to where you started. And perhaps the cruelest mistake of all is impatience. Many expect miraculous results in 2 or 3 days, as if decades of wear could be erased in a breath. That thought kills hope before the body even has the chance to react. When you understand that this is not about magic, but about biology, you realize that the real power isn't in a fleeting peak, but in the slow fire that warms everything from within. And it's in this process that transformation stops being only physical and becomes emotional. A man doesn't just recover firm erections, he recovers presence, confidence, and the ability to look at his partner without feeling like he is fading away. And now that you know this, I want to invite you to take the next step. Subscribe to this channel to follow weekly content that can transform your health and intimacy naturally. Like this video so this message can reach other men who need this information, and watch the other videos on the channel, because each one is part of this journey of recovery. I'm the doctor who has guided you this far, and I leave you with a reminder. You were not born to resign yourself. You were born to live with presence, energy, and desire. See you in the next video.